Hi, welcome to the second episode on business storytelling where I'm helping you build your story bank. First, I'd like to thank all of you who've given me the feedback for the first episode and also shared some of your stories. I look forward to sharing those again in subsequent episodes. Now, let's start with today's story. In 1930, there was a little girl called Gillian who one day brought home a letter from the school authorities which told the parents that Gillian was very fidgety, she was a disruptive element in her school, and she probably need to be put in special school. These were days before, we had this fancy thing called ADHD, and the parents were worried. But the mother did not want to put Gillian into special school, so she decided to take Gillian to a psychologist. On the way, the mother explained to Gillian that this is an important meeting and she shouldn't be fidgeting. And when they entered the psychologist's room, mahogany table with lots of books at the back, Gillian was a bit intimidated. Gillian sat down on her hands, her legs dangling, making sure she didn't fidget too much. The psychologist asked her a few questions and then looked at the mother and said, "Let's step out and have a conversation." He told Gillian, "You sit here, I'm just going to have a chat with your mom." As he left the room, he put on his radio. When they left the room, the psychologist took Gillian's mother to a window from where they could look into the clinic. And what they saw was, very quickly, Gillian had stepped out of her chair and started to dance, moving very gracefully. That's when the psychologist looked at Gillian's mother and said, "Your child is not fidgety, she just loves to dance." And so Gillian was then put into a dance school and she flourished. Later, Gillian went to the Royal School of Ballet in London, learned to be a dancer, a professional dancer, did very well, went on to become a choreographer, and not just any choreographer. She went on to choreograph two of the longest running shows in Broadway, Cats and The Phantom of the Opera. What a lovely story. Now, where in business can we use this story? We can use it if we are trying to make a point to someone saying, if you can find your passion, then magic can happen. Or if you could say, when we find the right jobs for the right people, they will flourish. Or maybe you're trying to make a business point that there is a power of correct diagnosis, because after all, if the psychologist didn't diagnose the situation correctly, we would have never got Gillian the choreographer. There are probably many more business points that you could use this story for. I would love to hear them from you. I would also love to hear some stories that you think you could use to drive business points. I will then use them in the later episodes. Below this video, you'll find the key points of this story and the business points that the story can make. You could take both of those and put it into your Evernote and start building your story bank. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Thank you.